Time for another Drafters Draft on here. We're going to strap in, do what we always do on this channel, just take our shot at the big prize pools and the biggest tournaments around. And today, Drafters 500K up top at a total points format. No pods, just 17 weeks of all the scoring there. And the special treat, of course, why else would I have a cartoon joint in my mouth if the real me was going to have an actual joint in my mouth? So let's get it going today. We got 6 spots left on Drafters in this room. I'm going to spark this up. We can get going. Ship Chase is going. Somebody in the stochastic draft I just did was like, why would anybody watch this over Ship Chasing? Number one, different platforms. Tell you what, probably not going to see a lot of DraftKings drafts on Ship Chasing would be my guess. Number two would be, I'm actually fully free to just do whatever the fuck because everybody's going to watch that one instead. So easy win for me. Let's fucking smoke some weed and do a draft. Yeehaw. Oh, yeah. Good torching of it. We're killing. The thing is, I don't have an ashtray. I'm going to put it in this. I'll put it in my Happy New Year little hat, maybe. Oh, that's tightly packed. That's tightly packed. Anyway, the goal here is to get a draft done while also getting more baked over the course of this hour. So we'll see how it goes. 4 spots left in this one on Drafters. And of course, you'd be a fool, a literal fool, if you didn't use the promo code SPLASH over at drafters.com or on the Drafters app. $100 deposit match on there. They're going to buff. $100 deposit match on there. Link in the description as well. Promo code SPLASH. And of course, on there, you get a shot to win $500K in the big Drafters Best Ball Championship main event this year. So check it out for yourself on Drafters. And that's what we're doing here many times a week. And tomorrow, hitting all the platforms. I'll be making my return to Underdog on stream. DraftKings as well doing again. And Drafters itself on stream tomorrow. And we hit the big 3. And frankly, might do a couple rounds of it tomorrow because Friday, no NBA games. So I'll have a little more time on my hands. And I'm not doing anything MLB content-wise. So, all right, well, let's let this fill. I won't just sit here, I promise. But some news, I guess, and I talked a lot about the news already on the DraftKings stream, so I apologize if you watched it and I have to give my takes. One thing that just broke, though, which I actually just saw on the Splash Play Discord. Dog, can you please stop putting your head on me? I feel bad that you're already close enough to the weed. So the Dolphins apparently talk about trading Jonnu Smith to his old pal Arthur Smith, formerly worked with him in Tennessee. Now the Steelers want Jonnu Smith, which makes very little sense to me, given the fact they have Pat Freiermuth. You just acquired DK Metcalf. You've got enough targets there. I suppose if they were going to trade Pat Freiermuth as part of that deal, that might make more sense. But Miami used Jonnu incredibly well last year, so it surprised me. I'm actually going to go through Jonnu's numbers here out of curiosity. But that trade would really, frankly, make me hate taking Jonnu at his ADP. Jonnu's been going top 100. If he goes to Pittsburgh, he should probably go top 130, top 140. I don't know, but he shouldn't go where he's going for sure, given the fact the offense is going to be a massive downgrade. So, yeah, I hate that news. It's not my favorite news item. 4 spots left on Drafters, guys. I don't know what else we're going to fucking do until you fill this. I know what I can do. I know I have something here that will distract me. In case anybody accuses me of not inhaling. That was really smoky. Okay. GM, smoking the devil's lettuce. Do I fear for my eternal soul? No, now that I have any sponsors to worry about. I'm fine. Great day for Splash Play. Yes, indeed. I appreciate Chad being here. Yes, we are twisting it up for sure. Jonnu and Arthur are going to miss fucking each other. They do miss fucking each other, perhaps. They're going to run more multiple tight end sets than wide receiver sets. Interesting theory. But they like Roman Wilson. They're talking him up too, so that doesn't really make sense. I don't know. I would really assume it would have to be trade Freiermuth in that deal, but he's got a contract with money on it, so it's not like an easy thing to do. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the deal is. Should I have made 2 joints and fucking burn this one real fast? Waiting for Drafters to fill. For the record, I still have to hang out with the kid after this. I just am a professional. I can do all these things at once. But please do fill the room as fast as you humanly can, because I'm fucking dying here. I'm dying as I smoke weed in the lap of luxury in my studio. Though, I don't know, does this make the camera look cool at all? Do I look more handsome because the smoke blurring it a little bit? Hopefully. Try to not hack up a lung on camera. I've actually had a cough the last couple of days. which is great after being sick over the weekend with something different. Now I feel like one of those daycare coughs has been hitting me. It has not made smoking weed a good time, having a cough on top of it, but we persevere as always in the name of drafters. What else news-wise is actually important? Nico Collins talking up Christian Kirk, I thought was pretty appealing to me. Christian Kirk's a guy that, frankly, when they drafted Jalen Noel, I immediately started to downgrade Christian Kirk in my brain because Christian Kirk could do a lot of things. Most of them are possession-based. You have enough possessions to go around, I think possession receivers, rather. With Nico Collins, he's going to be a downfield target, but also can move the chains easily. Jaden Higgins, very similar to Nico Collins, can get downfield, can be that big-bodied X receiver outside, but he also can move the chains. Like, he's fine to do that as well. So you bring in Christian Kirk too. It's like, okay, well, that's another guy who maybe can open these guys up to be more the downfield version as opposed to chain mover. When you bring in Jalen Noel, that guy's just pure burner. He's going to run a lot of deep routes out of the slot, probably a lot of motion before the snap would be my guess for Jalen Noel. So I was worried about Christian Kirk, but Nico Collins is talking up Christian Kirk like he's the one thing they're missing. And maybe that's Nico Collins being defensive of his role because Jaden Higgins does, again, things that are very similar to Nico Collins when Nico Collins might be due for a bigger payday soon. But Christian Kirk, I kind of was thinking might be dust. And Nico was talking him up like he's the thing that's going to help them win a championship. So that stood out to me as well in terms of the news items that I haven't talked about already on the DraftKings stream. The Olympic football thing's a big question for people in OTAs, it seems like so far. Mahomes said he's not going to do it. Matthew Stafford, somebody asked him, and he's like, are you joking? Like, I guess I could coach because like nobody's going to want Matthew Stafford out there because a flag football QB has to run. That's another underlying theme for things. Some guys are going to do it, I'm sure, or want to do it at skill positions. I would think that even though the NFL said the players are going to be allowed to do it, subtle team pressure for stars, guys under big contracts, I would be shocked. If you saw Jamar Chase representing America, you saw even T. Higgins representing America, not to make it Bengals guys, but like anybody who's gotten big paid or anybody's due to get big paid, I think is probably not it. But if you saw Denzel Mims, that wouldn't shock me. If you saw Josh Reynolds or something, if he's really good at flag football, that wouldn't shock me. But it's one of those things I've seen come up a lot, and you know, that's the thing to talk about. You can see my Splash Play avatar, our guy I am the KY, is experimenting with AI versions of Splash Play avatars. So you can see his whatever this is, which I like. Again, the issue with using an AI version of a Splash Play avatar, which use whatever you want. I appreciate the support regardless, especially from I am the KY, who's been a regular here for many, it has to be years now, I think, at least a year plus. For him, he can wear whatever he wants here, but like that doesn't tell anybody Splash Play. This tells people Splash Play. This is like, unfortunately right now, this is like wearing some fucking Nazi regalia in the best ball space. That's how they're going to treat it. But nonetheless, this is a brand name. This is an avatar people know in the fantasy football space. This one, I don't even know what it is, and I know what I'm looking at. So that's a trade-off. Looks cooler, but does it get the idea across? You guys tell me. Picking the 3-hole here, 9 out of 12 people have now clicked I am ready, let's draft, and I am sure we will still not draft on time. All right, let's light it again. The most fun part where we light things again. That was not a great lighting job by me. I feel like I'm exposing how infrequently I smoke joints or blunts at this stage in my career. When I was at Barstool, I was having blunts every day. One of my best friends out there, if you guys are on the Twitter Barstool universe at all, Buddha Ben used to produce stuff for Caleb, who's now coincidentally an Underdog, and Roan. Very good guy. Used to always bring in backwoods blunts to work. So I would smoke backwoods with him very frequently, not as like a moocher, but like actually bought him weed at one point where they stole it. The cleaning people stole it from our office, and then we used security cameras to see it was in fact the cleaning people had taken the weed. But I bought weed for him one time to make up for how much weed we had smoked in the office. Would do backwood blunts, which are made out of tobacco. Those are real harsh. These little raw cones, boy, that's smooth sailing. We're just getting bong hits basically at this point. Obviously, minus the water. All right. Pick coming up here. We got Saquon, perfect for drafters. For drafters, again, some of the things we like to talk about here with drafters, the biggest differences that people always want to know about. You are trying to get more middle projection, I think, on drafters generally. You'll still see some unique stuff hit. Like, last year there were 0 RB teams that I would have never thought had a shot at the top that were still top 20 and maybe even higher than that. For the most part, though, you want your biggest overall outperformers of ADP. You also just generally want more solidarity at certain positions. More solidity is a better way to say that. For Saquon Barkley, you just kind of want him to be a guy that does at least a fractional amount of what he did last year. And he can get less yards. I think it's possibly gets more touchdowns this year. That wouldn't shock me. Saquon losing some work this year to Will Shipley wouldn't also be shocking, given the fact we're now at a stage of maybe trying to preserve him more. Last year, I think, was kind of for him and for Philadelphia, a little bit of a show it and prove it year. Then he got paid. They didn't have to pay him again. Then they paid him again. Now I think we're more in the let's not let him turn to Christian McCaffrey stage of things, where a little more about preservation, a little bit more about getting him in a position to succeed without driving him into the ground. So for Saquon, I would say that's sort of your risk push pull. But even though I still get shit from weirdos about not liking Saquon Barkley, because God forbid you talk about the fact that people sometimes have previously underperformed their perceived talent, which he did for about 3 years in the Giants. He did really well with Philadelphia last year, and overall, their alchemy came together. That offensive line getting so many yards for contact for Saquon every time, that helps him out. Him being more efficient as a result. He didn't really miss a lot of tackles still, but he had opportunities, broke big plays, rush yards over expectation, all that shit. I get it. I'm on board. A lot of the guys. The one thing I'm not on board with, and this is now I think this is now the next front of battle for the Boomer RB lovers. Christian McCaffrey moving up here, goes pick 7. Other rooms out there, other platforms, I've seen him go same thing ahead of Genty. They're not comfortable making that click on Genty. I think that's going to be a thing that happens all summer long, because again, the summer drafters don't like rookies as much. They also really don't like uncertainty, and they still think Christian McCaffrey, he's healthy now. And they entirely miss the fact, rather, that red zone work was garbage last year. Wasn't what got him there in the past. We have a new coaching staff, so maybe it changes Clint Kubiak, how he fed Alvin Kamara. He could feed Christian McCaffrey the same way. But why would you when you have a rookie or a second-year guy who proved himself as a rookie? Those are the questions I would ask. I pass up T. Higgins a good amount in this spot. Do take my Trey McBride, my Bucky Irvings. And you know what? I'm building for that middle outcome here. Bucky Irving, come on down. Bucky Irving, I think, has a shot to be one of the best RBs in football this year. Still take my Rachaad White, because if Bucky does fail, if Bucky gets hurt, Rachaad White's going to step in right away and be a much less efficient version. For Bucky, though, him and Saquon as a pairing, Bijan and Bucky as a pairing, I like doing it a lot. Frankly, been doing it in a lot of drafts. I did the Hound Dogs on Underdog, filled those today. I'm doing those drafts, and I was frankly going to take T. Higgins anyway with the last pick. Got him anyway. So sick. Spags coming up in the lead. I should do drugs on every stream. Maybe I already am, and you just don't know about it. When I put my head down here and you hear me go, that's just me. That's just me having the sniffles. That happens to like people doing content sometimes, where it's like, yeah, why'd the guy have his head off screen and like he went like, it's like, oh, I don't know. Maybe it's like, oh, I had a cold. Yeah, you had a cold, of course. I do mine on camera. Really do wish I had rolled 2, though. Then I would be way too high. So probably for the best. What I should do is when it goes out, I should stop smoking it for a little bit. That might be the wiser thing to do, but that's fine. I have a high tolerance. We'll be good. Let's see. Is that a blunt, or are you just happy to see me? Technically, it is a joint, I have to say. It is blunt in the title, but there really wasn't a way to put joint in the title and make it cutesy. I obviously don't want to make the title of the video, Spags is smoking weed doing a draft. Like, I guess I could, because it doesn't fucking matter. Maybe I'll try that next time. Because I think I'm going to try to just do these when I can, when I have child obligations. Next Thursday, same thing. Luca and Alex are going to be out of town, so I'll be here fucking around with the dog. Maybe next Thursday again. I'll make the video title, Spags is smoking weed and doing a draft. And we'll see how it does. We don't need to do clever wordplay in 2025. It might actually hurt me to do clever wordplay in 2025. Anyway, the bad boy of best ball is here doing drafts all day tomorrow. So please make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button. I don't care how many drugs I do on stream. I could be doing 2C with Stefan Diggs on stream, and you would just be here going like, you wouldn't know. But subscribe down below, hit the like button, leave a comment. Be back tomorrow doing drafts on all the platforms, including another BBM, another DraftKings Millionaire, another one of the Drafters Main Event Championship that they changed their name to this year. I'll be going big tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. That's the big one, really. It's the video that I really try to push on everything, so more so. These are just me playing at the studio space, and fulfilling contractual obligations and plugging drafters. Really hoping you guys do take the leap on drafters if you've not yet. For the 20 of you watching live, pretty confident all you guys are on drafters. For all you guys who watch after the fact, though, do check out drafters. This is a great platform. And again, for me, I've had some of my best successes in the last few years on drafters without putting as much effort in and much sweat and much fucking belaboring everything on other sites. On drafters, I've had a top 100 finish in their biggest tournament. This what used to be the Drafters Million, now is the Best Ball Championship. I also finished top 10 in the playoff Best Ball Finals this past tournament. So this past season, rather. So I feel really good about the money I've gotten from drafters as a player. And I think for you guys out there, your money will go further if you put less in. And I think that's a big talking point here in 2025. Devontae Smith on the board. I like him. Jameson Williams. I'm also intrigued by some of the quotes and coach speak around him. We got our bet on Philly, so we're kind of just making an anti-AJ Brown bet right now. That seems fair to me. So Saquon, Bucky, Higgins, Devontae Smith. I'd like to start. I'm going to put the joint down for a minute so I can light it back up at 420. That's good content planning. Let's make sure I actually see when it turns 420. I feel like I'm speaking more directly and in a more presentation-oriented fashion right now because of the joint thing. I don't know if it might be me being high. I do feel like it's making me present better for you guys out there. All right. We are on the clock here. J-Mo came back. Jalen Hurts remains here. This is a tough one. We've got the Philly. We've got that stack. Elite QB will carry us a little bit further on a site like Drafters, but we are kind of eating at Jalen Hurts already. And J-Mo is getting a lot of camp hype. So, J-Mo, I think in a lot of situations, the click is Hurts. I'm cool with the click being Hurts. I'm not doing it today because I think J-Mo's price tag's going up. I think getting J-Mo at 51, I think his apex is going to be more like early 40s. Maybe a faint shot at late 30s because people love Detroit. But I do think that Jameson Williams will be a little bit higher soon, much like me. Shout out Bigsy here. You have super flexed out. Spags brings me back to a regular draft reality. I'm glad to hear it. I am not a super flex guy. It's one of the things I will say on here. I've done them on stream before, done with Pete and on stream before as well. I don't enjoy it. I think it's just chaos in a way where this is all fucking snipe chaos as it is. Getting it worse snipe chaos is definitely a thing. I will say my observations from when I saw, just go through some Discords in particular, I think Pause Kingdom had a few channels talking about the Superflex with some authority on there. Seems like having less good RBs is going to be a part of the equation there. Focusing on a couple of more premium QB stacks, not quite elite QBs, but like, two of the better QBs you can get that are legit starters that have upside, getting those guys with it seem to be a part of it. But less RB capital was a little bit counterintuitive to me. I was surprised to see that because RBs are even cheaper than ever. But I think it's basically like you have to get your QB mad rush. You have to get your wide receiver mad rush. Along the way, if you start deviating for RB, you're probably not getting the same boost. But I don't know. Follow your hearts on Superflex. I really think Superflex is a format you probably have the most wiggle room to play with because the data there, I would think, is very noisy depending upon who's good players in a given year and how ADP is aligned. And frankly, QB is always going to be priority anyway. So like that can't change. So I think you can, good for you guys who can do Superflex. I don't know if I should, actually, yeah, I'm Asian. It's like, yeah, please. I can do that. I forgot that I can do that now that we know that scientifically. Want to keep putting money on there for your credit? Okay. I always support putting money anywhere for me. Gilbert Arenas, an elite Superflex drafter. I mean, yeah, he's been doing it across every tournament format, so he's good to go. I did see somebody say it. I'm not going to say who said it. Somebody of note saying on a Discord that Pat Mayo gets 60 a year in site credits on Underdog. I had to negotiate very hard to get a literal fractional amount of that, which was very generous by my standards. So more power to him. But if that's the case, I don't know what Gilbert Arenas is getting. I got to say, that's fucked up. Again, I say that while being on the creator side. And as somebody too with drafters, I'm going half C on my entries this year with drafters. So like I'm not getting a real special deal for what I'm doing. Pick is up here. We could do Montgomery, correlate more, but I'm gonna get receiver, get Olave, like him here a little bit after ADP. Yeah, like again, like I'm happy to get site credit. I want to get site credit for things. I do think there is a point of too much for that. Like I think if you're drafting streams for a company on their stream, just totally candid about it, I think it should be comped because like you give away the EV for it. Does that mean every entry you put in a tournament should be comped? Probably not. Like if you're doing it off stream, I'd say probably not the case. But if you're giving away like fucking the Gladiator program worth of credits to people to promote, I don't think that's good for customers. I don't think that's, I mean, especially those people are good at what they're doing. I don't think that's fair. So I don't know. That's something for me. We did pass 420, by the way, so I'm an idiot. But hey, smoke him if you got him. Let's pretend it's still 420 here. No, we got this Detroit bet. That was what you're waiting for. I think if you watch the stream for the reason of his smoking weed. We got Sam Laporta here, semi-elite tight end. I don't think he's a real elite, but we're getting him 7 picks after ADP. We are scooping some value here in this room. I like that with what I've got going on. By Saquon Barkley, Bucky Irving start. We got Higgins, Devontae Smith, I keep saying Javonte Williams. It'd be awful if you had Javonte Williams. Jameson Williams, Chris Olave. Love that receiver room for the fact that I started with 2 RBs. And Sam Laporta at tight end. It was a nice discount. This is sick. This is a really nice drafters team. I think there's a very good shot, again, with me having finished top 10, doing playoff best ball drafts on stream. I think there's a shot I win money on drafters again this year on stream. I believe in me. The perfect you is you, and the perfect me is me. As the Apple TV show, Lulu the Rhinoceros, Lulu is a Rhinoceros, that my wife is working on as part of the creative strategy as their agency. Great show. That song is incredibly catchy. So when it does come out, please watch Lulu is a Rhinoceros, not for the view, but for the song where about a perfect you is you and a perfect me is me. Number one, great lesson for all of us. Like we're the perfect us. We don't need to be better. So he says as he smokes the joint on stream. Both impacting my view on that, but also being very imperfect currently. But I would also say for that, you know, like for kids, that's a nice lesson. It's like I like that stuff. I've been like Luke has been watching some nice content. We don't do Coco Melon type stuff. Anything he watches, I've talked about Carl the Collector, the PBS show with the autistic raccoon and his pals. Great show. It's all about tolerance and acceptance and fucking autism. That's not really about autism, but boy, that raccoon. Boy, that raccoon loves himself. A lot of collecting things. He's super autistic, especially as far as raccoons go. So, you know, like, I don't know. There's nice kids content out there for the parents, which I know we have plenty of in these space. Okay. We tap for a second here, so I'll let the weed chill. Ash it accidentally on my table. That's good. Good stuff, Spags. But anyway, if you're enjoying this content, guys, boy, you are just getting what Splash Play is all about here. Please do show some love if you can. Subscribe down below with the like button. Leave a comment. Again, I'm just one dude just gambling here on stream like you guys. I do come about it intelligently. Come about it also by having worked with some of the best companies out there, gotten to hone my craft in football by running Football Outsiders and being a part of the Chiefs Super Bowl win. Technically, we can talk about that because it doesn't fucking matter. The contract doesn't extend to me at this point. So I've done stuff and I'm here and I still will light a joint on stream and do this shit too because I do this for fun. I don't do this for fucking Twitter weirdos and actually watch the content. So shout out to you guys who do watch it. If you appreciate the stream, hit the like button, subscribe, and join the Discord as well. I'll flash that. $5 to join. Get in there, get my rankings as well. I do have to finish my drafters and DraftKings ones because I've had an issue with getting the sheets updated right. And I also have to do separate sets of rankings and it makes me want to kill myself. It makes me want to blah, blah, blah. But please do check out the Discord, $5 to join. And if you join the higher tiers, you get access to my rankings, which are out there. You're good to go for Underdog while I still wait to do these. And also, of course, drafters, you know the deal here, $100 deposit match on there. You draft on stream with me. And the good news is if we do draft on stream together, there's no pods. You're not really competing against anybody besides yourself. So the perfect you is you on drafters. You just build whatever team you want, deal with the results. It's good times on drafters. Really do think your money as a customer will go further on here than many other platforms. Not my favorite receiver pocket. Trey Harris doing a little bit of work with the ones so far in camp, but also playing with the twos. So nothing to take a big leap on. I think Jalen Warren being here feels like a nice RB click to add to our little menagerie. I would normally prioritize receiver, but really I only like Trey Harris there, and I'll have more than enough Trey Harris elsewhere. So we're good. QB options are going to be an issue. I'm going to have to do some late QB stacking to make this team work right. Got really good, I think, at the skill position. So I appreciate chats like this from Matthew. The squad is nice. I agree the squad's nice. And shout out Matthew too, one of our longest standing members who I give not enough shout outs to, is one of the kindest as well. We don't have natural stack partners. So that's something I'm going to have to think about. And you know what? I'm going to think about it. And I'm going to act on it right now and take Bo Nix. I think we can get some late stack partners for Denver. We're missing out on Cortland Sutton, which is not my fave. Do think he's your priority number one if you're going to do a Denver stack. But we're not competing in pods on drafters. So I think if you're not taking Cortland Sutton to the finals, I would worry about that a little bit for Denver. But even then, Cortland Sutton's your chalk Denver guy. If you take Marvin Mims, you take Pat Bryant, you take Troy Franklin in a 20-round draft, everybody's going to Pat Bryant. Everybody thinks that he's the guy. And you know what happens when we have an ambiguous situation? And we also have a guy in year 2 who's going to be in the system for another year. Guy who caught a 50-yard touchdown in the playoffs. You think that guy is not in the mix at all? That's that. So, yeah, I do think Troy Franklin still has merits, especially as Pat Bryant's up to a 164.5 ADP on draft. It's even higher than Underdog and DraftKings. Man, I think Pat Bryant's an okay prospect. I think people are buying a little too much into the Michael Thomas quotes. He's still got to beat out Devon Vele, and I'm not sold that he can do that. And he's not the same kind of player as Troy Franklin. Troy Franklin's a burner. Troy Franklin will get downfield, get open in space. Pat Bryant's going to make contested catches. It's not the same dude. So they can both hit, quite frankly, but not with Cortland Sutton there. I'm always extra cautious because I don't want to burn my facial hair. One of my greatest fears of lighting a joint or a blunt. Nolan, your mom said you couldn't watch this stream. It's OMG is what I would say to that, Nolan. Only Nolan will get that joke and probably not laugh anyway. And I said it for nobody. The Bryant ADP has gotten out of hand. Yes, it has. Yes, it has. And I really don't know who's steaming it. Like, does ETR have him ranked crazy high or something? I think Bryant's got some merits, but he's not a great athlete. Which they're saying with the Michael Thomas comp anyway, so that's fine. He's not quite as big as Michael Thomas. And then you have guys that are going to earn targets. Like the thing with Michael Thomas, he earned endless targets. I don't think Pat Bryant's going to earn endless targets either. Whatever. Tater's going to hate, It's like I always say about player analysis. I haven't got there at Pat Bryant at all yet. I think we're all on the same page. So who's steaming him up? Like, where is it coming from? I don't follow enough of everything to know what everybody is doing. So, I don't know who's responsible for this Pat Bryant discourse, but I think it's bullshit. Like, I haven't seen anything that makes me think that. He didn't even get good draft capital. He just got drafted. He got drafted, I think, worse than Troy Franklin did, no? You got the Michael Thomas quote, which Troy Franklin did not get. Is that it? Is it just he said the words Michael Thomas? People are like, oh, I remember that guy. That Michael Thomas, he did well. That's it. And RJ Harvey's Alvin Kamara. We've decided. Does RJ Harvey have braids? Perfect. He's Alvin Kamara. Ooh, daddy. That was a big one. So many late pick stack opportunities there with Denver for sure. Nix, of course, still gives you some outs with his legs. He does. He didn't run as much when the offense got figured out better and he wasn't desperate, but look, he can run. He certainly can run. He also is, actually, that was the thing we talked about in the Discord. He also, Hayden Winks pointed out on Twitter, had one of the highest check down rates to RBs and tight ends in football, which surprised me a little bit. But, he's a high EPA player. He did that at Oregon too. So not really surprised, even though, a little surprised. Does Jared Goff make this team hum? Marvin Mims? Let's go Mims here. I think there's a shot we get Goff back around. These guys don't have anything Goffy going on. Unless they want to do David Montgomery with Goff, which maybe. But I think we needed Mims a little bit more here. It wasn't worth trying to kick him around, seeing if these guys don't take Mims. Some rooms don't like Mims. I do. The fact that he had really great fantasy days without the greatest ADOT in the world, I think is a pretty big testament for his skill and his merits in an offense. But I get the critiques of Mims being a little bit of a low ADOT merchant. All right, Dak Prescott goes. Mims comes back. We've done beautiful work here once again. Jared Goff, come on down. You and Bo Nix, a very Aryan little QB room. So We're doing that for ourselves with Bo Nix, Jared Goff, the QBs, Saquon Barkley, Bucky Irving, Jalen Warren. Love the RBs here. Saquon in Bucky rooms, Bijan in Bucky rooms. Heaven on earth. Heaven is a place on earth, and it's drafted a bunch of RBs. That's what I'm sorry, guys. The thing, though, is like, you see how I draft still? I'm still like, I'm not going RB crazy. I'm not taking 3 in the first 5 rounds. I'll take my guys. I'm getting out, hit some pockets, throw some jabs, get a Jalen Warren. I like it. Receiver room right now is T. Higgins, Devontae Smith, got him as a nice value. Jameson Williams got him as a really nice value. Chris Olave, Marvin Mims, and Sam Laporta. Nice value there too. Loving this team. Really one of the cleaner teams I've built on stream this year. I feel like it's been fucking garbled messes I'm building because of the rooms. The draft rooms have been tough. I've not had a draft where I'm like, this is my perfect feng shui. Everything aligns. This is aligning nicely. We got stacks that make a lot of sense. We got great RBs still. We got still good wide receiver talent. This is me at my best. Do I smoke a joint on every draft? I don't know. Adam, of course, loves to give us our quotes of wisdom. It is never safe to look into the future with eyes of fear. Wow. Adam, you know what? You hit the notes of the stream perfectly. Thank you for that. He has a white guy sounding name, and Maga loves white receivers. You're like, of course, Patty O'Brien, the receiver. There was a Pat O'Brien in the NBA who was also a black guy, I think, too. He played on the Warriors. I think it was O'Brien. So, yeah, maybe. Yeah, that's funny. They're like, oh, man, this fucking Michael Thomas white guy at receiver, he's going to kill it. But nope. I really does. Somebody has to tell me, like, one of you guys, I'm sure you guys all watch a lot of content. Will that takes site tell me who's talking up Pat Bryant? I saw Pete talking about this on Lulz. By the way, you know who's not on takes? Me. You know who's a little bit insulted who's not on takes? Me. You know who also doesn't want to be giving up myself to AI content? Also me. So real tough scene overall. I mean, you can filter here by expert. So you can see Chris Spags splash play does not make the list, unfortunately, which is crazy given the fact they put, like, I love Pat for Fantasy Dog Pound, the Badge Bros. I think I deserve to, like, I originate takes. And those guys do too, but like, come on. I originate a lot of fucking takes, guys. Anyway, let's look up Pat Bryant in a second. Let me make a pick because I'm coming up on this clock. We got Trey Benson here. I do find that to be a little tasty treat to add on. Dallas Goedert as well to give us a second tight end stacked up. Could be another one. These guys have any tight ends? Dorito looking for tight end. I like Trey Benson. I don't need Trey Benson, so I'll go Dallas Goedert. Close that stack off. Originate takes while doing bakes. That's true. I'm literally doing that on stream. I don't think I've parroted somebody else's take, and if I have, I give them attribution. I don't think I've done that. Like, I don't know. I'm not like, I'm the least hive mind, I think, of, I wouldn't say out of everybody in the space, but like certainly more than most. You just send Bales an AI written letter to get me on takes. The thing is, I don't really want to be on it. I think it's insulting though that I'm not on it, and I don't get to be like, well, what's the fuck? Like, what the fuck? Because I'd probably be okay with it. But I do think it's a little gross that you can just like take to work that somebody would do like an ETR or whatever. And I would say they do move markets for sure. For them to like have their work be distilled down by a site that is monetizing it in some way, that's a little bit shady. Can add more at receiver, but I think I'm going to go my boy Tank Bigsby here. And we are at my boy status of Tank Bigsby. Like him rounding out this room. If he could be a bet, if he doesn't hit, I'm not going to sweat about it. But Bigsby, I think, has a really good shot at being the goal line back no matter what because of the skill set he has. And I also think he had a lot more juice than I would have realized with the avoided tackle rate he had being about 20%, I believe, which is not like what I would expect of Tank Bigsby in the NFL. 19% rounding up, 18.5 for Tank Bigsby. That's a really good number for a guy who's a power back to miss tackles that much. Pass game will never be there for him, but that's fine. Somebody can have that role. So Bigsby at pick 4. That's it for me. It helps that you start your takes in January. That's true. I do. There's not a lot of people giving them out. But with the rookie process, I do put it on video before anybody else does, at least as far as I'm aware that, that I actually watch or whatever. Anyway, Pat Bryant, we're gonna get to the fucking bottom of this. All right. So share this tab. We don't care what expert. We want to see all of them they have. We'll go Broncos. And here's apply. Okay, Evan Ingram, Ryan McDowell. Fantasy Sanctuary's on here and I'm not? That's fucking insane. No disrespect. Come on. The AI doesn't want me. The humans on Twitter, I get them being mad. They watch one stream, they make their judgments. They hear I don't like Saquon, they go nuts. Everybody loses their minds. Come on. I have great takes with spelled correctly without the E before the K. And I know Bales too. Like, I've known him since my Barstool days. We talked about fantasy when I was at Barstool. It's fucking like on content. Anyway, RJ Harvey being talked about here. Lot from the Fantasy Sanctuary. Mayo Media, Ryan Noonan over there. I don't know him. RJ Harvey. Davis talking about McLaughlin. Coach Begin Next talking about Audric Estime months or what? Healthy scratch? That doesn't seem current. Anyway, where's this Pat Bryant talk? Davis saying crowded depth chart, Caps rookie ceiling. Yes, Davis Maddock. Thank you. Thank you, AI Davis Maddock, or real Davis Maddock through the prism of AI. This one's active. What the fuck does that mean? Cortland Sutton 10 days ago. Stable ADP, now a buying window according to a take expert. Fucking fantasy dog pound. Love Pat. Unbelievable. All right, back to drafters. We got a pick coming up here. I'm gonna smoke weed this time out of pain. Sadness. We need more receivers for sure. Xavier Leggett looking good in camp so far. I'm on board with it because there's no other receivers anywhere remotely in range, so options are limited. But Xavier Leggett, wide receiver 6, come on down. Joint lighting number 6, come on down as well. Okay, we got there. Get scared to light my mustache on fire, even though that would probably get me more views. Maybe it would get me on takes. But it's a tough scene when even people won't steal your original thoughts for AI. That's that's where you really get the kick in the dick. Anyway, let's scroll back up here. We read my team. Show you the draft board better. Hey, go check out Drafters. I think they're getting their money's worth for today's stream. $100 deposit match on Drafters. Get a great site to play on. I've given enough things to extol the virtues, but really the main thing is I've finished atop their tournaments 2 times in the last 2 years. And that's something I think you can't say a lot of other sites out there. So playing on Drafters, you got a shot to be like Spags and make some money. So go check out drafters.com, download the Drafters app, and use promo code SPLASH when you sign up. And that way we all win and we can play together. And frankly, I don't give a shit if you hop in these drafts at all. Frankly, prefer you do so we can fill them fast. I want to max this baby out. We really, again, don't really need RBs at this point. We take some spike week guys like Alec Pierce. That's it. This team is lit. Team is in fuego. Much like a joint. We'll give it a read. Bo Nix here. Got him at a little bit of a value. Jared Goff, a little bit of a value. Saquon Barkley. Not really a value, but a little bit of a value. Bucky Irving at ADP. Jalen Warren at ADP. Bigsby, think at ADP. We got T. Higgins, Devontae Smith, Jamison Williams, Chris Olave, Marvin Mims. Of course, part of that Bo Nix stack. Been working so hard on. Xavier Leggett, Alec Pierce, tight end, Sam Laporta, Dallas Goedert. We still have 5 rounds left. I killed this team. This might be like the best drafted team that's ever been created on stream, especially for taking 2 RBs up top. Like, I nailed this room. Shares of high octane offenses. This is like a playoff best ball team with Higgins, Smith, and Jamison Williams. Then Olave, part of an ascendant offense. I guess if I had one better wide receiver 5, it's like the one thing that I don't know how I could have balanced that. Maybe kick QB down a little bit further. Better wide receiver 5 than Mims. But I'm going to have like 10 receivers by the end of this. So I think I did well. I think I did well. Next Blaze, I land the Gilbert. I probably could. And yes, I did want you guys in today. I do post in the Discord. Braden, you're a member, so you should know this. I do post in the Discord whenever I am going live in particular, for the DraftKings and the Drafters drafts. I say when I'm about to go live, how many spots are left so you can get in. I don't do a tag for like a special thing like Pete does because I don't care. but I do post it every time I go live. So just one thing to keep an eye on there. I'm going to post it in the new streams channel. That basically, if I have to fill a room, you guys will know first in the Discord. So just keep that in mind if you want to get in stream drafts. And hopefully you can get less of the weirdos in drafts. This FF Links dude is one of the guys on Twitter, by the way. He got really butthurt, even though he doesn't know me, because like the guy was nice to him and he heard, oh, the Spags doxed somebody, which, by the way, when you post somebody's publicly available name and their publicly available town that they post about on Twitter and you put that in a headline, it's not doxing. I SEO'd him is what I did because I thought he was a piece of shit for threatening to come to my house. And the third person in a year who's an Underdog customer who's threatened violence upon me or threatened to come to my location in Philadelphia. So this guy, FF Links, is one of the guys that defended him. I got to say, I think he's a dog shit drafter. I've seen him in a bunch of Underdog drafts. He just spams RB really heavy. There was one point where he had one receiver through like 8 rounds in a draft. I don't know how people follow these guys. I don't know how they respect them. It's going to be a thing that I said. And I don't think he got credits for what it's worth. I don't think he's got enough. I don't think he matters because he bitches about low dollar tournaments a lot as well, like some of those guys. I don't know why anybody would follow somebody that, like, maybe he got good results last year in the weirdest best ball season ever in terms of how ADPs worked out. And that's, again, like Saquon, great. Like, you got that right. More power to you. You got Derrick Henry right. Awesome. That's 2 really good hits. You guys that did fantastic. But like anybody taking 5 RBs in your top 7 rounds or some shit, like that shouldn't be anybody with any sort of influence on Twitter. That should be somebody you go like, the fuck are you doing? But somehow, because like they find people who think the same way, I guess they gain influence. But anyway, shitty drafter, annoying guy. 2 things he's got going for him. Been around 4 to 5 years and he's not good. There we go. Glad. Nolan knows. Nolan, I would say to his credit, one of the sharpest guys we have in the community in terms of knowing things in the DFS and best ball space and being very good at it. So I'm glad to hear that from you. But yeah, I don't know. I got to call a spade because I don't give a shit. Like I am not on Twitter anymore. If you see me on Twitter, it's just me retweeting stuff. I'm not even replying anymore. But if you say something to me, I'm just going to hit the like button. That's unfortunately my relationship with Twitter now. We're on the clock though. Again, I think we can keep taking receiver. We got Jalen Noel. We don't need RB. We've got these 4 fantastic RBs, really the 2 fantastic RBs and 1 pretty good RB and 1 that might be displaced, but probably won't be. Saquon and Bucky Irving though. I would take those 2 men into war, in a literal war, let alone 17 weeks of total point scoring with a shot at $500,000 in drafters, the best ball championship. I also love these players I'm getting too. Darius Slayton, some camp reports of him connecting well with Russell Wilson. Diami Brown also playing well so far in the Jacksonville stuff with him getting his big new deal there. I am going to go Darius Slayton here. I'm just going to keep hitting receiver. We are now, but you build with high-level RBs that you feel good about. Like, I could add more RBs on at a certain point, but why? Like, are they really going to outscore Bucky and Saquon that often, let alone Warren and Bigsby? Probably not. So let's give the team a read. We got a little time, and I will finish my little roach that's left. We got to fit the theme. Bo Nix, Jared Goff at RB, Saquon Barkley, Bucky Irving, Jalen Warren, Tank Bigsby. At receiver, T. Higgins, Devontae Smith, Jamison Williams, Chris Olave, Marvin Mims, Xavier Leggett, Alec Pierce, Jalen Noel, Darius Slayton. Maybe add 1 more tight end on top here too with Sam Laporta and Dallas Goedert, but I don't think I have to. I love this team. Insane to have 9 receivers through round 17, but I love it. I will take this. Spags looking like Furio from The Sopranos. Thank you, the joint smoke. He does have a bit of a schnoz, but I guess I also, unfortunately, have a bit of a schnoz. Spags the GOAT. Kendrick, my man, our BBM 6 winner. I appreciate it. Thank you, Kendrick, for the kindness as always. And he loves the smoke draft. Have to make this tradition. I'll be doing it again next Thursday, if nothing else. But I appreciate all you guys for watching. And again, tomorrow's the main event for me in the week of streams where I do a draft on every platform. Obviously, Drafters are presenting sponsor this year. Check them out if you want to, put up drafts like I am today, which is a really fucking clean, fun draft I'm having here. But also to get your best shots of winning money, I finished top 101 tournament 2 years ago. This exact tournament we're in right now, finished top 10 in the best ball finals, best ball tournament rather, for the playoffs last year. That's what you get on Drafters. These are shots at the top. And this year it's 500K to first on Drafters. So check it out. And they do support the show. So check them out. Drafters.com. Download the app. $100 deposit match for that one. Shout out No Cap Mac. How we doing today, Spags? Hope best ball treating you well so far. The season's been fine. I feel like I'm hitting my stride in terms of the knowing draft rooms across every platform, which is a big part of my goal. It's been a little bit slow for me on the uptick because of having NBA going, but now that NBA is slowing down, I've been really jamming drafts on Underdog. You guys might see me in some of these various little smaller tournaments as they go because I'm just burning site credit. but basically that's, what I'm trying to do is do that more. DraftKings I'm only doing on stream right now, but I have 2 of those a week, so I feel pretty good at my DraftKings stream outlay. Drafters doing on stream. I mean, what? I guess you do DraftKings 3 times now a week on stream. Drafters doing 3 to 5 times a week on stream. I think I'm in a nice stride, so I feel good about things. I do appreciate seeing guys like No Cap Mac, big part of our community last summer, but people come in and out. I get how it goes with best ball. Missed the live show, but going one. All right, appreciate TD being here, and you can always join a stream when you want to hop in. Appreciate his support, of course, as a paying member. If you guys want to have the little nickname next to your, the little logo next to your avatar as well, and you want to be shouted out, and you want more VIP perks that, I don't know, got to do a members draft at some point. Make sure to join the Discord. $5 to join. Link in the description. Pete stole did steal my idea. I've done it on stream before. I've had open room. People can come in. But I was thinking about making that one of my flagship things I was going to try to do, of like having like almost like a hotline thing where people can come on, we'll talk, we'll do a draft, and like people can cycle in and out, which is still, I guess, different enough that I could do it. But Pete did the best ball bash with like allowing people to get on as a random kind of drawing thing. So check out that show too. I think that's a good one that I saw this week that I enjoyed with Neil Farley. Very good data guy. Maybe not a great camera guy, but but a good data guy. We got Tyler Higbee here, who I think would be a nice click at this point to give us some more depth at tight end. Again, we don't really need it, but I like Higbee as a player. Really came on strong for me in DFS on the home stretch. So Tyler Higbee, that's that. How do you get free site credit? Fucking do free work for a site for years and then negotiate as hard as you possibly can. Or, be already in the wheelhouse. I think there's going to be less and less that goes around. And frankly, again, I'm not trying to make a big deal out of it. Like I've thought about making a big deal out of things. Like I don't, because like, it doesn't benefit me. And I want my friends to get free things too. But you guys should be aware it exists. I think it should be like maybe a disclosure thing. I think an FTC disclosure kind of thing for site credits would be helpful for people to know. But some companies don't like to do things like that. We got more receivers we can go to here. And I know one I'm going to go search out deliberately before somebody else takes him. Troy Franklin. Let's add him onto this train. We don't need any more RBs. We got Saquon, Bucky, Jalen Warren, Tank Bigsby. So let's take 100 receivers. 10 receivers on this team. 2-4, 10-3. I am living on this stream. You got Bo Nix, Jared Goff at RB, Saquon Barkley, Bucky Irving, Jalen Warren, Tank Bigsby. At receiver, T. Higgins, Devontae Smith, Jamison Williams, Chris Olave, Marvin Mims, Xavier Leggett, Alec Pierce, Jalen Noel, Darius Slayton, Troy Franklin. And at tight end, Sam Laporta, Dallas Goedert, Tyler Higbee. So loving it. Call me McDonald's Spags because I am in fact loving it. I wished I could have committed all the way and not a fucking Jimmy Fallon my way, snickering through the bad punchline. That's that. Just come Jay in hand. There's a lot of things I won't do on a stochastic stream that I will do here. A lot of things I won't say. Besides the safe house, if you guys are here, I'm sure people will post it on a Discord. They're like, "Oh, Spags saying everybody should be outed for their." No, it's just like, let's call a spade for if we're going to have a fair industry, I think. But I don't know. To me, don't share it outside the stream, guys, because like, don't give the fucking best ball Twitter weirdos more things to complain about. But if you want to know things that like I think actually kind of matter, that's the thing that kind of matters. Thank you, Kendrick, for the chat. I appreciate that. For the good juju splash over shit. No, they are a great show as well. I appreciate all you guys who watch this stream. Watch them both. I love those guys. They've all been great to me. Maybe Davis the least out of the 3, but still, like, he's done streams with me when he didn't have to for free. So think he does great content as well. He deserves every view he gets, and his quest to not have to work at Starbucks or whatever the bit that's going on right now. I presume he's doing okay. I hope he's doing okay for himself. Financially with everything, it's hard to do this by yourself. But yeah, no, please watch those guys. Don't watch them when I'm on if you can, but I don't fucking care. I got to smoke a joint while doing a stream. I'm living my best life of, me feeling creatively satisfied that I can while still gambling on stream. Be more creatively satisfied if I were talking wrestling on stream or like, I don't know. Maybe not more creative, but a different kind, or playing video games on stream and getting paid to do that. That'd be sick. But just building a nice team and getting to smoke a joint. Wow, this is pretty cool. I think we had a good run here today. I think Davis affords max everything. It's certainly not winnings. Well, you can't use site credit for money. What'd you miss? Everything. Everything, everywhere, all at once. And we do. We just imply things on Stochastic. That's true. Having sex on stream? No, not that. I don't need that pressure on my life. The most that I need of sex on stream would be back in the day when my Nest Cam would occasionally catch me fooling around with somebody on the couch in the living room, which, it was the camera was there to watch the dogs when I was out in the house, make sure they didn't do anything bad. But that's as close as we're going to get. I don't think there's a market for that. But if there's a market for it, let me know. Keep in mind. Add it to the list of things I'll half-assedly do to make a half-assed amount of money. Site credit for streams. Yeah, that's the dream. If I could only give away site credit to people that then they think it mattered, that'd be really sick. I'd try to give away probably memberships. That didn't work. No, they really give many away. Try to keep it premium. People don't want to fucking pay for it, though. I'll tell you what. But shout out to you guys who did. You got to try. All right, so we got a shitload of receivers. And you know what? Just one weird bet. Actually, one weird bet we could do is Sean Tucker. You know what? We got a 20-round draft. It's pure luxury at this point because we already won the Drafters Best Ball Championship. So we can take a guy like Sean Tucker here for funsies as our, maybe he's not Rachaad White this year. Maybe he laps Rachaad White, takes his role, and takes a little bit away from Bucky. That wouldn't be crazy. Or just Bucky gets hurt and Sean Tucker carries us to the pay window. That's a possibility. Final team, though, a 2-5-10-3, a very creative one, inspired for some reason here. That has nothing, I'm sure, to do with the thumbnail. Bo Nix, Jared Goff, our QBs didn't need the third, I felt like, so 2 works for me. RBs, felt like we got enough 2. Saquon Barkley, Bucky Irving, Jalen Warren, Tank Bigsby, Sean Tucker. Wide receiver, T. Higgins, Devontae Smith, Jamison Williams, Chris Olave, Marvin Mims, Xavier Leggett, Alec Pierce, Jalen Noel, Darius Slayton, and Troy Franklin. The tight end, Sam Laporta, Dallas Goedert, and Tyler Higbee here. So loving this team. Think, honestly, the only things I would have maybe done differently is less wide receivers and just tacked on one more QB, one more tight end. But, what does a Jackson Dart do for this team really? Maybe helps. What does a 4th tight end do with how much we spent on draft capital with Laporta and Goddard and Higbee? Probably not enough. So I don't know. I like to see him. Good stream, hopefully. Shout out to all you guys for hanging out, though. Shout out, This Is Fine, who's joining, who I believe, again, are one of our top drafters finishers, right? You're the one. There's too many guys who finished top on drafters. But shout out to all you guys who hung out today. Again, please do check out drafters if you can. The only reason I get to do streams like this, frankly, would not have done it with being an Underdog partner. Now I can just actually try to be creative and do something different. Even though it's just stupid. It's just boys hanging out and smoking weed, but whatever. It's different. So show them some love if you can. Check out Stochastic. Check out drafters as well. Drafters.com. Promo code SPLASH on there. $100 deposit match. If you're new on there, your money will go further, give you a shot to win big in tournaments. And again, last year, putting 3 entries as the playoff best ball tournament on there. Finish top 12. That's something you're not going to do very often. It's only 3 entries on the other sites. But on drafters, you can get away with it because the total points format rewards the kind of thought you're doing as somebody who watches a stream like this one. But also the total points format, it's just more about your ability to draft, less so about your pod luck, which makes it fun, gives everybody a shot to win. But on drafters, that's not the case. So check it out for yourself. You get a better shot to make your money go further at drafters.com, promo code SPLASH. Tomorrow's the main event of the week for me, where I do drafts on every platform, so stay tuned for that. Might start that one on the earlier side compared to usual, thinking maybe 12, 1, somewhere in that range. So keep your eyes peeled there, and I might do a couple rounds of it. So come hang for that one. You can get some rooms with me. We'll have some fun. Drafters, check them out. And follow me at Chris Spags. Follow this channel at Splash Play Pod. And check out my Splash Play Bets NBA video if you want some DFS showdown content for tonight. Still doing those. And it's always money time here, so gamble responsibly, because even though it's always money time here, I fucked it up. I never fucked that up, but I'll blame the weed for that. But I'll be back tomorrow with more, guys. See you guys then. Enjoy your days. Good luck, and thanks for hanging out. This is a fun stream for me. Bye, guys.